Welcome back to this video on how to build a Claude-based apps for Microsoft Power Pages. These websites are going to give some amazing look and feel, but today we're going to work on the data modeling aspect. This is the fourth video in our series, and if you've missed the previous videos, we have gone through and installed the prerequisites, we have created the actual website, and then our third video deployed that website. So if I go and I preview this website, we're going to see that the website as of right now is essentially tied to fake data. So in this video, we're going to create a data model. We're going to then populate that data model with some fake data, mock data. And then lastly, we're going to start to tie it to some real pieces in our next video. So as you can see right now, we've got our Clay Citizen portal here. Let's begin. I'm going to go over to, and to keep on in the Word doc here, I also have in the descriptions video a Word doc, which will walk you through step by step all the pieces that we're doing here. I am in the section right here, session 4, and we're going to be using the / setup data model here to create our data model. Now, this is going to create the tables, even create a relationship diagram for you as well. So, of course, we can use that command right from VS Code, so let's hop over there. Again, as we mentioned in the last videos, we can use that command from within a terminal window, or we can use it right here. So we'll go ahead and use it right here for the time being. I'll just paste in that command. We're actually calling out that command, but we could use it from a terminal window as well and just literally say / setup data model. Let's go ahead and fire this off though. We'll use more verbose here. I'll get rid of the terminal window. I really prefer using a terminal window sometimes, but we're kind of targeting this towards everyone. As this fires this things off, it's going to ask us a few questions. Are you allowing it to use that command? Sure, let's go ahead and use that command. And it will ask us a bunch of questions again here. Now, what it's going to do now, it's going to look at the application we built and determine what type of data model should be built. It's then going to give us a ERD, a relationship diagram that lets us, entity relationship diagram, that lets us kind of see how the tables all interconnect. You can see it's actually kind of validating all the prerequisites. It's going to choose a data model source, and then it's going to also, somewhere in here, create the relationships and then publish those tables. Once we do that, we'll go ahead and create while this is firing off, we'll go ahead and do some stuff in the background to get ready for that as well. What we can do is we can build a model-driven application really quickly just to see the data that's being created. So it will ask us a bunch of questions here. I'm going to tell it to analyze the site. Yeah, or in this case, we can also upload our own diagrams. So if you had a sketch of a diagram of what kind of tables you wanted, we can also use those. But in our case, we're going to use the have it just scan and find. This is a brand new environment, so we're going to tell it to do that instead. Now, if you already have tables, that's not a problem either. We can basically use this and then pass the existing tables. It will kind of build a mapping system for it, and then we can use the / web API to tie those tables that you already have to the application. That'll be our next video. All right, so here we go. It's going to start doing its pieces here to the architecture of this. It will take some time. And then, so let's go ahead in the background while this is firing off. We'll hit yes occasionally here. And as we have any kind of major decisions, I'll let you know what those major decisions are. But largely, we're just giving it permission to do certain things. Now, while it's doing this, I'm going to hop over and I'm going to go ahead and create a solution that we can use. So to do this, I'm going to go to make.powerapps. Oop, not there. There we go. I'll go to my environment that I created earlier. I'm going to hop over and just make sure that we're not waiting for me to say anything. Nope, still working. And I'll go to the environment we created earlier. I had a little Easter bunny somewhere here. There it is. Time to get the glasses on here. And we'll go over to solutions. Now, a solution is how we're going to move things over from dev to QA to prod. So I'm going to create a new solution here. We'll just call this Clay 311. We'll need a publisher of some sort here. So we'll go ahead and create a new publisher. And we'll just call this just Pragmatic Works. Call it your own company name. Pragmatic Works. This publisher is what everything will be prefixed inside of this. So we'll do PW_ as our prefix. Now you can do whatever you want. You might have Clay_ or IT_. Once you had that, Pragmatic Works is selected. Again, this solution is going to package everything up so we can migrate it from dev to QA to production later. But in our case, we're going to create tables inside or use the tables that are created in Visual Studio Code and build a quick application just so we can see the data that's been done. Again, still creating this here. Our final step will be to add tables in a moment once those tables are created, and we'll then add the app as well. So let's go back here, and right now it is 8:40. I think I kicked this off maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago. Let's go ahead and fast forward and see how this prompt does its job. as you can see, it actually is prompting me now to open up an HTML doc. I'm going to go ahead and select my Edge environment in this case and just open it up. And we can see a plan overview. It's recommending 4 new tables. We can see the tables at once. It has categories. It has service request. Okay, perfect. And it's using this CR prefix here, service request notes, and the attachments for it. And it's going to use the existing contact table. We can also see the ER diagram here as well and see what it's using here. Looks pretty good. However, I don't want it to have this crazy prefix here. I'm going to tell it to use the PW one instead. So we're just going to use the existing contact table. And then we have some service categories, the actual service request, and then a bunch of things that kind of fall off that service request also. So it looks pretty good here. We also might want a FAQ section down the road and those kind of things, but we'll just kind of keep this as is for that. Let me go back here again. I don't want to approve this yet. I want to request some changes. And I'm going to tell it to go ahead and submit answer, request those changes. Give it a few seconds. It should prompt me for what kind of changes I want. Okay. I want to use the prefix, the Pragmatic Works publisher with the PW prefix for all the tables that you create. There we go. So the other prefix that was there before was a built-in prefix for the default publishers that are out there at Microsoft land. So we're going to see it. Actually, it already fixed that. Looks pretty good. I like the new table names. And of course, we can look at that ER diagram again and just check. Okay, it looks pretty good. We can see the multi-line text. We have descriptions. We can go over here if we want to see the actual tables here and kind of drill into each table. A unique identifier there that makes sense. Category name, perfect. And then our service request right here. We can kind of see the requirements here. It has a request title. Okay, looks pretty good. We got a request number. Looks like the request number is right now a single line text. That should likely be an auto number. So I want to make that one change also. Okay, I just noticed that. So I'm going to just copy this in. And yours might look completely different also. Should be an auto number that has a SR prefix. All right, see how it does on this one. Okay, it's updated that now to be an auto number. Perfect, auto number with a SR and a sequence number right there. Perfect. We created a case before, it had SR dash whatever. So this gives us a request number now that looks pretty perfect. And of course, we can go through and look at all the other ones and make changes there. We'll call that a day though, and we're going to go ahead and approve the create tables, hit submit answers, and now it's going to actually deploy those tables. They will all have a prefix on them, so I'll be able to find those tables easier. We can see where is it in the task list right here. This is why this area on the right here is kind of nice. I'm going to tell it to kind of accept all these. Where if we're doing a terminal window, it's a little bit more arcane, a little harder to read. This makes things really easy to read. It's going to ask us the same questions, do the same work, and allow us to multitask in the terminal window. But this one is just nice from the other side. All right, here we go. So now it is starting to do the pre-checks. There we go. And next step will be to create the table after it does these pre-checks. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward this again. I'm going to hit yes a whole bunch of times. All right, it's been running for a long time, as you can see. It's been at least 8 or so minutes now. But now that it's in its final verification phases, everything's been published now. It's going to go ahead and check a few more things, make sure everything's validated. But while it's doing this, we can go ahead and go back to our solution we created earlier and do add existing tables. And we should be able to search for PW or whatever your prefix was and see your 4 or 5 tables. I'm going to add those to our solution. So later we can move that. I'm going to include all my objects in this case. Normally I wouldn't do that, but in this case it makes sense because this will be my source area. And now the tables are going to be in here. Additionally, I'm going to create a new model-driven application just so we can kind of see the data behind those tables also. Again, I'm just going to call this sample case system, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. This is just for you to play with here. I'm going to hop back over, make sure it's, it was waiting for me. And as it does this, add some tables. So I'll hit add page, and I want to do Dataverse table. Again, I'm going to search for PW. There we go. I'll have my 4 tables I'll check. And then I'm also going to search for the contact table, which holds our people. Contact inside of Dataverse holds any kind of people that you may be looking at. The data model is now successfully complete. And as you can see, as I hop around here, I have loaded some sample data already for contacts, but not for anything else. So these new tables that we just created have no sample data inside of it. I'm going to hit the publish button on the top right here and let it do its thing in the publishing area. And now that it's done its thing, we've now deployed those. We have the relationships created. All that hard work is now done. We've had an ER diagram, ERD now as well. And if I were to go in here and do a / add sample data, add some sample data, we can of course do other things as well. We're going to later do the integrate web API. So we'll come back to our next video and do that. But if I add sample data, we're now going to go ahead and see it add some of that sample data. It's going to ask us how many records we want. It will spend a few minutes doing that also, but we're going to see those records start to be created. It's going to verify the prerequisites. It's going to ask us a few questions and then move on. So that we should start to see some tables, some tables with data here in a moment here as well. All right. So we'll give that a few seconds. There we go. All right, first question is asking, which table do I want to do? Typically, it does give me an all of them option. So I'm going to do other, all of these, and I'll say 5 records and submit that record now. So again, it'll take about 4 or 5 minutes to do this as well, and we'll be able to see that in our other application. So in other application here, we can hit this little play button and begin to see the results of all that work we've done in the Visual Studio window over here. So we can see it starting to create the data here, it has a sample request, has all that, it's showing us the records. And now it's going to start to actually insert that sample data. This is the final step. Now, one of the things you would want to do as you're kind of going through each of these videos is make a backup of your solution. So that folder, either check it into source control, which is beyond the scope of this video, or just make a zip file of it as well. So every step along the way, you're going to do that. Want to do that because something could be a breaking change as we do this. You may have noticed as a prompting, it was going fast here, but it would try something, and if it failed, it would then try something else and then try something else. So it was kind of debugging and learning as it went there also. That's one of the nice things about Claude Code is it can dig itself out of a hole. All right, so it created 5 categories. All right, let's go back and see how those look. The service categories were empty before, and now we have abandoned vehicle, all sorts of goodies right here. So we're starting to see those records now create. The next thing is going to create a service request, I imagine. Yeah, inserting service request. We'll see these Yvonne sample data. It even recognized that I have sample data over here. This is from the main Dataverse install. And it's going to then go over here to service request. And actually, there's the first one going in now, a pothole in there. So it is learning from my system and building it all automatically for you. So we're not going to watch it finish up all these records here, but you'll see as I go back here and I hit refresh, we're going to see those records slowly start to come in. Our next video is all about how we tie this data to our actual website. So if we go to our website now and I hit the preview button, we're going to see the website really hasn't changed a whole lot, right? It's still the same website because none of this is data bound yet. So our next video, we're going to take that sample data, those tables, and bind it to our data so we can start to actually play with the real stuff here. So stay tuned for our next video. You'll find a link to that in the description of this video, and have a great day.